How's it, everyone? You're watching the Leadel 7 show, episode 8, and 8 is great. So let's get to it. Sometimes what we see is just the tip of the iceberg. The end result is amazing, but the preparations for it are downright inspiring. Timothy Ferriss lost 28 pounds in 18 hours, only to regain them 24 hours later in preparation for a Thai boxing match. Hezi Dayan practiced yogic breathing to survive 66 hours in an ice cube. It would be interesting to see what happens way before the camera crews show up. Unfortunately, that never really happens. Have a look at Israel's first superhero of 2010.
Hezi Dayan is an illusionist. Some people also question his sanity. On Tuesday, he was dropped into a massive ice cube in the centre of the Israeli city of Tel Aviv, virtually naked. His aim was to break a record set by David Blaine in 2000. The American illusionist lived in an ice cube in New York's Times Square for 63 hours and 42 minutes. Dean's stunt coordinator says the rules this time are the same. No food, no water, and absolutely no contact with the outside world.
In recent news, the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston may have found a priceless Da Vinci. The London Jewish Museum of Art got a rock-bottom price on a CHAGALL by keeping bigger institutions out of the bidding. And descendants of a Holocaust survivor recently settled their claim to 3 Picassos. Do you also feel lost in the art world? Well, Leadel makes sense of some of it with this piece on art and investment.
People like to see the real thing themselves. They like to know what they've seen on television, perhaps they've read about it somewhere, they've seen it on the internet, but when they see the real thing, they're moved. They're moved by the auratic qualities of the original art form. This is certainly true of an art painting, but even more so of a sculpture, when you need to stand in, or an installation, where you need to physically stand in relation to that object.
No one sings like Irit. She studied and performed opera all over the world and is now bringing a little Latin love to the Middle East with flamenco music. We're here sitting with Irit live in studio. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Flamenco opera singer. Why?
Because it doesn't exist.
But what is like flamenco opera? Like,
it's a very crazy mixture. It took me months, maybe a whole year, to collect the materials, to collect the songs. What we needed were songs that that have a very beautiful lyric line, and that can be well arranged into this new ensemble. And it started with Napolitan songs that are obviously a very good choice for that.
Right.
And then we took some of the Faya songs, and he actually took the Canciones Populares Español, which are popular Spanish folk songs, and he arranged them to piano and voice.
Okay.
And we rearranged them to flamenco guitar playing and singing. And then I had this crazy idea that I had this, a Latin lover.
Ooh, spicy.
Every girl should have one at some point of her life. And
why? Do tell, yeah.
I'll tell you in person later.
Off camera, yeah.
Off camera. And one of the most wonderful things about him, there were many wonderful things about him.
I have no
He was
doubt.
an amazing singer. He was a tenor, of course, as all South Americans are. And I just remember that this really incredible, very popular, yet incredibly lyric and demanding vocally songs coming from Mexico. So I actually emailed him when I was researching for the program, and I said, okay, give me a list of songs that would be suited for me.
Fantastic for the genre.
And then we used some of those songs as well.
Thank you so much for joining us, Irit.
Thank you.
I think the only way to truly know Irit is to hear her, so take it away.
préfère, il n'a rien dit, mais il me plaît.
wow. To watch the full interview, please click on the link. Otherwise, carry on to the next item. Wow. A Jew, a Croatian, and a Gypsy tried running for office. Sounds like a joke, right? This incident was no laughing matter in Bosnia, where legislators must be Bosnian, Serbian, or Croatian. The European Court of Human Rights came out against Bosnia's policy, calling it discriminatory. But ethnicity and politics often mix. To immigrate to Israel, you have to be Jewish, and to become an American president, you have to be born within the United States. So have a look at the next few, but don't sound the PC sirens automatically. The world is more complex than some would like to think. Dreaming of running your own company, but don't have a dollar to your name? Meet Amir Wald. He's doing something right, creating value with a puppet, a guitar, and a PC. Oh, and a lot of creativity and self-discipline. His one-man company, Connect, recently received the 2009 European Startup 2.0 award. Amir sat down with Leadel's Tomer Marshall to talk about it. Take a peek.
This is an idea that started with scratch, started without any funding, and is making it. Mass-produced collectible items are items that people collect and are not one of a kind, but there are many of a kind. So, for example, you have coins, you have stamps, you have phone cards, you have sugar bags, you have plain barf bags or vomit bags, to be nicer.
Miriam Garmaise is trying to save our planet one city at a time. With a dual master's degree in city planning and architectural studies from MIT, Miriam is now the director of Shomera, an Israeli NGO focusing on building sustainable cities. Leadel's reporter Emily Katz spoke with Miriam about her important work on behalf of our environment.
It's not just the environment, it's people. It's their quality of life in their living spaces. It's their personal health. It's their values. It's what they bring from within to without and vice versa. And therefore, while we can't, of course, tackle every single arena, we're aware that it all works together as a whole. Shomera's had this track record of creating environmental initiatives which were innovative and pioneering, set trends and led by example. So in fact, we would launch initiatives that were perhaps local and community focused, but in the end took on a national dimension because it caught on.
The Family Guy takes on Judaism in Family Goy, the most politically incorrect episode possible. Lois, a main character on the show, learns that her parents hid their Jewish roots to get into country clubs. While grappling with Jewish identity can often be heavy stuff, the Family Guy has us laughing in our kishkas. Here's a scene from the family's morning routine.
Well, this thing is worthless, like my Palestinian alarm clock. Allahu Akbar!
That's it for this week. Join us here next week for a whole new dose of Leadel goodness. Shoot us an email and log on to our website. We leave you now with this video by Israeli musician Onili, who made the video in her living room. She said she dreamt up the idea one night where all she could see was bunnies. Check out Kutiman on the keyboard. So ciao for now, guys.